Problem number 12, let's do some graphing review here. I've got the function y equals negative sine pi x plus 1. I know the basic starting shape is a reflected sine. That's the valley and the hill. So I know I'm about to be drawing something like that. The amplitude, that's the a value. There's no number written in the front there, so it must just be the 1. The negative is part of the reflection. Period, I have a little formula for that. Period is 2 pi divided by the b number. The b number in this problem is pi, so 2 pi divided by pi is just 2. The midline is the d number sitting there at the end. Let's see, 5 key points. First x coordinate is always 0. The fifth one will be the period number. You can figure out the rest from there. Cut the 2 in half to get 1. Cut the 1 in half to get 1/2. Now I know I'm counting by 1/2, which means this must be 3/2, 1.5. Okay, so to sketch a graph, what I should do is I should mark on those key x values, 1/2, 1, 3/2, and 2. I should mark on enough scale to show my midline. Let's see, my amplitude is 1, so I need to go at least 1 higher than that. I do want to show the midline. We do that as a dashed horizontal line. And then all I have to do is put on the valley and the hill. The valley starts at the middle, then it goes to the low. I'm going 1 below the midline, then back to the midline, then to the high, and then finally back to the midline. Connect the dots and I have 1 complete period. Lastly, what if I wanted to rewrite this equation using reflected cosine instead? Well, all I would have to do is find a reflected cosine shape in here. That's the ghost. I can see that if I started here and then traced out a path, I would obtain the ghost. So all that means is the equation will be exactly the same. Even the negative will be the same because I'm still using a reflection. But inside here, I'll have to use a phase shift. Specifically, it looks like I'm going to have to shift the graph 1/2 to the right if I want to use the ghost, if I want to use reflected cosine. The plus 1 will be the same. This equation would also generate the same picture. And then let's take a look at problem 13. Y equals 2 cosine 1/2 parentheses x plus pi. We'll worry about the phase shift at the end. For now, I know I'm going to be starting with a regular cosine. Regular cosine is the vase. This is what I'm about to draw. The amplitude is clearly 2. The period, we have our little formula, 2 pi divided by the b. The b is 1/2. Now, dividing by 1/2 is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, multiplying by 2. So the period must be 4 pi. The midline, no d number, so that's just going to be at 0. And phase shift, I can see it in there in that parentheses. It says plus pi, so that means I'm going to the left. So you can either write negative pi, or you could write pi to the left. Of course, ignoring the phase shift, my 5 key x coordinates are easy to find. Start at 0, end at 4 pi. If I cut that in half, I get 2 pi. If I cut that in half, I get pi. So I'm obviously counting by pi's here. And then down on the graph, I will begin by ignoring the phase shift. I'm going to draw what the picture would have looked like if there was no phase shift. I'll mark on my scale. My midline is actually just right here along the x-axis. My amplitude is 2. Okay, and I'm going to make this first picture dashed. I'm just drawing on the vase. The vase starts at the high point, and then it goes to the middle, and then the low, the middle, and back to the high. And I'll draw in our vase shape. If there had been no phase shift, this would be the final answer, but we do have a phase shift. Specifically, this thing is being shifted pi to the left. So what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to add a little bit more scale. Here's negative pi. Each of these red dots simply shifts pi to the left. So that top point will shift here. And then this midline spot will shift to 0, 0. the low point, pi to the left. Everybody's moving one tick mark over. This one was pretty nice since the tick marks we already had matched the phase shift. All I need to do is connect the dots, make the vase, and this solid blue shape is then the final graph. Let's see, we've got all the scale, we've got the midline, we've got dots at the 5 key points, so I think we're finished. And then finally, we want to write an equation for this function using regular sine. So I'll need to find the regular sine shape somewhere in this blue picture. Regular sine is the hill and the valley, so I'm thinking if I started here and I kept going, I'm going to get that hill and valley, which means to use regular sine, I'm going to need to do a shift of 2 pi to the right. So all you really have to do is take the equation you had and make that adjustment. Let's see, I don't need a negative because I'm using regular sine. I'd still have the amplitude as 2. This is now sine. The 1/2 will stay the same. The only thing that will change is the phase shift is now 2 pi to the right and no d at the end. This equation would also result in that same graph.